For the first time in Brooklyn Tech history, the graduation ceremony will be split into two separate graduations. The classes will be split by majors, with the engineering, arts, and social studies majors in the morning and the science and math majors in the afternoon.
There's only a finite number of seats in the auditorium, and basically if we were to do the graduating classes one graduation, we would only be able to give each of the graduating seniors one ticket to graduation, which means only one parent could see them.
With a graduating class size of 1,136 students, the student government, along with the assistant principal of student and parent engagement, faced their most difficult challenge yet.
All right, first of all, I'd probably like to say that it's a very devastating decision that we had to make. I don't think anybody really wants there to be two different ceremonies. We all understand the desire for everybody to graduate together. Our biggest obstacle was the class is bigger than it has been in the past. We're talking about just about 1,100 graduating seniors in an auditorium that only fits 2,800 people. Realize, being such a large school, there's only a few options for us. The other option was Radio City Music Hall. Not only is it very expensive, but it wasn't available. Our next option was the theater at Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden, well, if Radio City is expensive, Madison Square Garden is just not even a consideration.
There's really only a couple options that are larger than Brooklyn Tech. There was the gym at St. John's University out in Jamaica, which is kind of far. I think it's Jamaica. So it's pretty far, but that was pretty much what we were going on, because that was really our last option outside of Tech. And we went on that for a while, but we didn't, figuring we have an alum on the board of trustees for the gym or something like that. And so we had a real good connection. We'd been talking to them, but in February they told us that that wasn't going to happen. So we really had no other options that were indoors. We didn't have any outdoor options either. I don't want to give that idea.
The class of 2011's graduation ceremony isn't only breaking new ground by having two ceremonies, but they're also introducing for the first time in Brooklyn Tech history announced names.
The kind of rule with our graduations that we don't read the names of the graduates, that we don't call the graduates up, because to call over 1,000 graduates up would take a very, very long time. Every student gets to have your name called and come up on stage, which is kind of huge, because we've never ever done that at a Tech graduation.
Student reactions to this has been both negative and positive.
To be honest, I was kind of expecting it with a large class size in the auditorium that can only fit about 3,000, I believe. It just didn't seem possible that we would have graduation all at once.
I thought it was a little ridiculous, and that we wouldn't be able to see half our friends and we wouldn't be graduating with them.
Good. I went to my 8th grade graduation and we don't have as much people, but still really hot. It's in the summer, so I'm sort of glad.
Well, I was upset because I now know that I can't celebrate graduation with all my friends.
Parents, meanwhile, seem to be indifferent.
Because once again, their biggest issue is that they can bring grandma and grandpa, aunt, uncle, and so forth and so on to the ceremony. So they like the idea that they can bring more people to the ceremony.
As class sizes continue to increase, this may become a new Tech tradition.
There is a very, very real possibility that this could become a format from now on.
As we're making all these improvements and changes to the facilities, hopefully we will get a lot more seats and maybe have it back here, because I know that's important. But I don't know right now. Currently, I don't think that we'll be able to do one ceremony for all the graduates in our building. I hope that changes, but for right now, I don't see it. I'm sorry that it had to be this way. I think there's a number of opportunities, such as prom and such as awards nights, where we can still all come together. I just hope that students understand that that everything was done to try to prevent this. But that at the end of the day, it's not a huge setback. I hope that it's not a huge disappointment. You're still all graduating and at the end of the day, at the end of 4 years, that's the most important thing, that you've seen the final result of what you've worked so hard for. And in the modern day of Facebook and Twitter and everything else, you'll be able to contact and keep in touch with everybody. So the one day where you don't get to graduate at the same exact time, in this world of technology and communication will probably be a very small afterthought. I wish I could give it to you, but I just can't.